Listen, I am telling you that
I don't agree.
Politics. Where is good governance?
Everyone is a political animal.
I don't like politics.
But I love political voices.
Political Voices exclusively on Dream FM, 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday to Friday.
Obvious that Ngige, through his recent utterances, had clearly shown in his disdain for the lecturers and had failed to play the role of an unbiased umpire in moderating the problems. All right, so those are some of the stories making the headlines in the political space here on Political Voices on 92.5 and it goes Dream FM. Remember, you can join the conversation on Twitter at Dream925FM and on Facebook at 925 Dream FM. And of course, you can listen to us live on www.dream925fm.com. Stay with us. Political Voices is live as always. This is, of course, we are focusing on the political defections, the lessons of history for Southeast leaders. And, of course, the practice of defection from one party to the other appears to have become a necessary attribute of party politics in Nigeria. Matter of fact, you can trace this to 1951. When several members of NCNC, that's the National Council of Nigeria and Cameroon, defected to the action group just to deny Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and his party, NCNC, the majority in the Western Regional House of Assembly, which they required at that time to form the government in the Western region. Of course, even within the action group, Ladoke Akintola, a deputy leader of the action group, left the party in a crisis of personality and ideology between him and the party leader then, Obafemi Awolowo, to form United Democratic Party, UNDP. UNDP then entered into the alliance with the Northern People's Congress, NPC, to frustrate the action group's dominance of the Western region. So it's a mix of intrigues and power play and ideology clash. So we'll start by telling you that we're joined on Political Voices this morning by Okbalanzananri Chukwuemeka Onyeso. He's an author, historian, writer, and a social critic. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Alex. Thank you very much.
We're also joined by Dr. Des Naja. Des Naja is a versatile pundit and former head political advisory and consultant Neighbor to Neighbor Nigeria. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Alex. Onyeso, nice meeting you.
My pleasure.
All right. So I'll start by asking you, Chukwuemeka Onyeso, what are the odds against decamping politicians? Is it possible that it's all filled with gloom and an unclear future? Is there like we say in this part of the world and elsewhere too, is there light at the end of the tunnel for politicians who choose to fly away at this time and over the fence?
That answer to that question is personal, because there are in some cases where it could be productive, but we must realize that under the present laws of Nigeria, parties contest offices, not individuals. So if one is governor, it is the party that is the governor. You remember the case of Amechi in Rivers, who didn't contest the election, but when the court decided that he was a rightful candidate, the person who won had to give way for him to take over. Therefore, when you decamp, when a politician in office decamps to another party, goes away with the position he has acquired by representing the party, he's not doing anything lawful. It's morally wrong, because the proper thing is to resign before leave the office for the party, because it belongs to the party. That is one. In the present circumstances, the noise and the hula baloo about ultimatum, and ultimatum is not a very good thing, except when there is a quarrel, to a party that you have to give us the party candidate for an election that we hold 3 years from now is unheard of. Otherwise, you come to Party B. Has Party B given an irrevocable undertaking to the Southeast that they are going to have a Southeasterner as candidate? Even if they have done so, what is the record of that party in keeping promises on that undertaking? I do know that APC is in charge of the federal government, and there is a federal character commission which stipulates how Nigerians should come together in various government institutions. 2, that even in the character commission, the post of chairman and secretary must be spread between the north and the south. But what's the position today? That law has been violated. And there are so many things that have happened under the APC federal government, which is an outright breach of undertaking and law. When you violate the law, you have breached undertaking with Nigeria. And for anybody to tell me that you are leaving Party A because you have been told that they will give you a platform, which you have not been given, to me, it doesn't make sense.
All right.
And I can't subscribe to the idea that that person is doing it in the interest of the Igbo nation. He's serving his self-interest.
Okay, then. Thank you. Dr. Desnaja, talk to us about defection in itself. Is it usually something not nice for a politician to decide to leave a political party that used to house him and then decide to move to another political party? Is it bad on its own? Could there be reasons that are genuine for a politician to leave?
I've always spoken about politics as being a game of interest, and when one's interest is not satisfied at a particular platform, the right is there for the person to say, okay, let me change or jump boat and then see whether I can actualize my political ambition in another. So personally, I mean, the personality of the politician that they camped might not be dented because it has become a norm in our own climate that people change political parties to actualize their dreams. Just like what happened in 1953 in the Western House of Assembly when the entire NCNC membership of that house on inauguration day decided to cross carpet to join a party floated by Obafemi Awolowo against that of Nnamdi Azikiwe. And the Obga incidents you mentioned, and then we forgot to talk about Akin Omoboriowo when he was actually of the UPN, he joined NPN to kind of scuttle the interest of UPN in that particular election. So it depends exactly on what the modalities for the campaign. Is it a sellout? Are you the campaign to sell out? That now impugns on your integrity. But if you are the campaign to kind of get what you want, fine. That's nothing wrong personally in that. Look at what happened before the last election, before the 2019 election, when the uncommon defection took place in Akwa Ibom State, because with all his might, with all his political clout, having matured from the cradle to the position of being former governor and then being a senator, and then a principal officer of the Senate of the Federal Republic, Akpabio, decided to decamp to the All Progressive Alliance, All Progressive Congress, and described his campaign as the mother of all the campaigns and an uncommon one at that. And you look what happened. He got protest votes and lost the election. That's what I'm saying. So the issue is this: the personality of the person is affected based on the reasons for the campaign. Are you the campaign to be used as a tool to destabilize Party A, or are you the campaign personally to actualize a personal ambition? So
All right.
if it is A, then there is impunity. If it is B, fine and good.
Okay, we will of course. All right. Let me get back to you, Prince Chukwemeka Onyeso. Is there a historical evidence that defection can be counterproductive?
Well, what is the cause of the 1966 crisis? How did it begin? It was a defection of Samuel Laduke Akintola from Action Group to, well, he had a party, but we know he aligned with the MPC and became a federalist. That is the root of the crisis that culminated in the coup d'etat, the massive rigging of the 1964 election, the 1965 Western Regional election, then the crisis in the West. You remember they even went to the ultimate court of Nigeria. Then that is the Privy Council had a judgment, and they came back to Nigeria. The Western House altered the Western Nigeria Constitution, and Abubakar ratified it in Lagos, backdated it by 1 whole year in order to keep Kintola as premier. All these activities and the rigging of the Western election, of course, gave to the uproar, which was the last straw that enabled the January 15 coup, then the counter coup, then pogrom, then, of course, the rest of them until they had an agreement and Gowon voided. And Aburi was actually restructuring Nigeria. That's what we're asking for now. That's what the middle belt is asking for now. But a middle belter in office voided it. The Eastern region said, no, you can't. We must keep it. If you don't, we go. And they seceded. And the almighty federal government, in collusion with the rest of Nigeria, stupidly, like they have now admitted, because they are beginning to confess. The middle belt has confessed, and the Western region has confessed too. That's why I'm beginning to have these self-determination groups here and there. But all of them joined, because how dare the East do it? And they crushed the East, and you now have the kind of arrangement you have where the center does what it likes with everybody, practically everybody. So, defections is one of the major things that have created the state of anarchy in which Nigeria is. Defection of Esela Akintola from Action Group.
Dr. Desnaja, are there lessons now, because part of what we're discussing today are the lessons. Do you think there are very ardent students of political history in Nigeria who are looking at the timelines of what has taken place over time up until this moment and looking at what the consequences of their actions could be? Do you think that politicians are looking at the consequences of the actions they are taking just to clinch either political office or to influence the outcome of elections?
As it is, most of the defections that are popular, that have actually changed the course of things within the present dispensation, could be traced to becoming the substance of anger. You know what happened in the case of Tambuwal, who was the Speaker of the House of Representatives under ACN, under PDP. He jumped both to APC and then won governorship to return to PDP once again. And I recall also the jumping of, the campaign of Atiku Abubakar, because he wanted the presidential ticket of a political party in 2019. He had tried twice to get the position. It did not work. Forget what happened in 2003 when he was purportedly entering into alliance with Alex Ogbodo to continue to become the vice president while Ogbodo would fly the ticket of the party. But that did not work. He did not decamp. But he decamped from PDP to ACN, decamped from ACN back to PDP, decamped from PDP back to APC, then left APC again to become the candidate of PDP in 2019. Fine. He still had followership, and he still controlled a substantial amount of votes from the Nigerian populace. That's what, because that one can be traced to the view of so many people that certain defections appear to be sometimes of anger, that something is not happening right, and someone decides to leave office, to leave the party because of that. Just like the expression credited to Nwezumai of Ebonyi State, he actually is saying that the PDP has not given the Southeast a fair share of its a justification for its contribution to the growth of the party by not allowing the zone to produce the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or to even produce a presidential candidate of the party to run for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So he is angry about that. Like he said I think in a voiceover this morning, that he was going to leave politics in 2023 to go back to his business, that he was not interested in picking a position, and that he was just trying to show anger that his party is not treating his own zone properly. That is why he is leaving. So the students of history begin to look at all these things and know and draw the line. Has it become part of Nigerian politics for people to defect? Has it become part of Nigerian politics for people to express anger by leaving one political party or the other? And you recall what happened when the mass movement started, where there was that 1 million man march for Abacha and so on. So it became a kind of political document, a political expression that someone mobilized the mob to begin to prove the acceptability of someone who had not actually contested an election. And then TAN of 2015 followed suit when there were rallies all over the country purportedly asking Nigerians to continue to accept a candidate. So all these things are indices that things are not going well in our own climate. People defect, fine, that is personal. What the students should learn is that we are playing politics of no ideology. We don't have the center, we don't have the west, the left, we don't have the right. Both the center, both the right, in fact, right, center, and left have all been deserted. When Babangida propounded his two political parties of NRC and SDP, he said one should be a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. In that process, center was deserted. But this time around, there is no clear-cut ideology, except the ideology of some people making money, occupying positions to become rich, and then kind of continuing to dominate the scenes within their own constituencies and areas or states. So, and even when some of them are not in power, they still have access to the funds of the nation, make money, amass wealth, gain influence outcome of elections, and continue to do things wrong. Sometimes standards are lowered, and that is why leadership has not emerged, especially in the Southeast. So defection is a lesson when it is, and we begin to interpret it based on what? The motives.
All right. So why is it so easy for politicians to defect? Is this something that we should look at? Why is it so easy? So that it just takes an announcement and then you're gone.
Well, it's because of the state of the country. When you become the capital of poverty in the world, most of the politics people play is politics of the stomach.
Smokocracy.
If you really want to understand what happens when people are poor, you vision poverty, what the effect it can have on moral or values. as like an empty sack. When it's empty, it's on the ground. But as you fill it up, it's capable of standing. That is how what poverty does to human nature. If you can look after your present and future, you are confident you will have a world of your own. But when you are incapable of doing that, anything goes. And you remember in Soviet Union, what's the name of one of the leaders deliberately created poverty so as to make most of the people subservient to whatever he does. So I would say that I don't know whether it's deliberate, but you know that the system of governance in the North, where the leaders say everything and whatever they do is unquestionable. I've forgotten the exact name you call it. And that is what we're having now, where the center has put everybody down. All the structures of democracy, none of them is functioning. Judiciary has been beaten. The parliament or the National Assembly, you remember that one of the leaders here had to go to become a pilgrim in order to be given office. So what kind of person is he? What kind of leadership do you expect such a person to effect? And most of the problems you have now is because the parliament is not functioning. The demonstration by the youths is against the non-functionality of the parliament. If the parliament were functioning, they should have reined in the executive, and the excesses we have will not have taken place. Now, coming back to this issue of defection, we can even see how bastardized our politics is. All the prominent people who decamped in 2014-15 to enable the present leadership of Nigeria emerge have left. And they confessed that they didn't know that this is the kind of thing that will happen. But you say to them, don't deceive yourself. Because the present leadership of Nigeria has been in leadership as far back as 1983. Yes, he was military head of state and chairman of the Petroleum Trust Fund. And if you want to know him, you go to his records. So anybody who tells us that he doesn't know that things will turn out this way, he's just trying to pull a wool over our eyes. But they did it because it suited them at the time. It wasn't a patriotic move. It's either because they hated the person there or had an axe to grind with him, and therefore they went there. And then when they found that they couldn't actualize what they thought they did, or the promises made to them are not being kept, they now came out and begin to criticize. Meanwhile, it's not easy to recover a cup. It's easy to give a monkey cup, but very difficult to recover it. And that's the situation in which we find ourselves.
All right, then.
It's easy for politicians to decamp because of lack of ideology. You know, a kind of a principled politician who belongs to a left-wing-based political party will not defect to join another. Because they begin to say, this is my orientation. I am a Marxist. If Party A is a fascist political party, they can't give me what I want. They won't approach development the way I want. They won't satisfy what happened to the people. You recall the story of Aminu Kano, who continued to run one man, to control his own area because he did not like what was happening in the popular political parties, so-called popular political parties. The NPC, the NCNC, then NPN, NPP, UPN, and so on and so forth. He said, I work for the Talakawas. I am representing the Talakawa, the common man. Because they are suffering. Because the leadership in the country has not given them what they want. And now, he formed his own party. First of all, it was NEPU, Northern Eminent People's Union, and later People's Redemption Party. And he continued to identify himself with that. And he has his followers in Barabe Musa and Abakarimi, who all continued to function in that regard. To say, we belong to this ideology, we can't change, and we can't accept another ideology. But this time around, no ideology except ideology of just being in politics to make money and then wage a kind of acquire wealth and have the influence that the people they want to kind of intimidate people left and right. That is it. So lack of ideology, it becomes easy, straightforward way to be relevant. Jump from one political party to another. There are politicians in Nigeria who have joined 3 political parties.
Or more.
Or even more. So that is not sane. It's not, but it kind of translates to political insanity. For someone to continue to jump, you see what we've had in America. The election is still an issue. But the Republicans, the diehard Republicans are still holding on. Even though some of them confess to have voted for Biden during the elections. But that will not make them to leave the Republican Party and join the Democrats. Mm-hmm. They can exercise their franchise by voting, by exercising the right for protest votes. But to leave the political party,
all right.
Let me add that the failure of the judiciary to pronounce the seats of the campees, or positions held by the campees, to void their seats, because that's what the law says. The failure to do that is contributing to indiscriminate decamping. The failure of the parliament to also the speaker or the president of Senate to declare such seat vacant as the Electoral Act and even aspects of the Constitution demand is what is encouraging it. If they implemented the laws, I'm sure, regardless of philosophy or whatever, that people will stay where they are.
All right, and this is Political Voices on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. This morning, we're taking a look at the lessons of history for Southeast leaders on the issue of political defections. And in the studio, we have Balaza Nanri, Prince Chukwemeko Nyeso, and of course, Dr. Desnaja. We'll be taking your calls now, 0902002095, and your comments on 925 Dream FM on Facebook. And
hello,
good morning.
Alex, my brother, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name and location?
Chimo Krafo from Umunochi.
You're welcome, Chimo.
On defection, I want to start with these questions. Dave Umahia, what sin did he commit? When Peter Obi left Abga after 8 years of enjoying all the good in Abga, the man in Anambra, what did you say? Does it mean that Peter Obi doesn't have political ideology? When the man in Benue, in Edo, left APC just last month to PDP, and there was joy, Okondi was rejoicing. Did he commit any sin? So the man doesn't have political ideology. Saraki and Dogara, so they don't have political ideology. I have Kiyoji in my state here, Senator Kiyoji, who left from PPA to ABGA and then to PDP. Today, he is in a senator of the Federal Republic under PDP. So does it mean that Kiyoji doesn't have political ideology? My brother, let's tell ourselves the truth. This is a tradition. We love what Dave Umahia did. We have been supporting a party. I'm a PDP category member. For 20 good years, they never like us. They only like us for our vote. They doesn't like us for presidency. Dave Umahia, glory be to you. God will vindicate you. You are a man of the people. May God bless you. Those who are shouting there, and we are listening now, there's nothing any of you can do. The man there, go and take it to be.
All right.
Let me correct a false information.
Okay.
Peter Obi served his full term as ABGA governor. When he changed parties, he was holding no public office. So let nobody just try and.
I think
mix
what we
things
should
up.
be saying in this instance is that we have not actually been condemning people for jumping political parties,
Yes.
but we're analyzing the lesson that we are supposed to learn from people decamping and what are the reasons. Why is it becoming so easy for people to decamp from one political party to another?
And the reason
we're not
he
justifying
gave, he has a right to decamp.
We're not justifying the
Under
campaign. Neither are
the
we
present
condemning
practice.
it. But we are talking about the indices that
Yes.
are making that decamping
All right.
so easy and so frequent.
Let's take some more calls.
Clear, because
All right.
I made a profound statement. Dave Umahi can decamp, but let not insult our intelligence by telling us that he did it on behalf of the Igbo nation. I am an Igbo stakeholder. If you tell me something stupid, I will tell you to go to hell. You cannot tell me that 3 years before presidential election, he is decamping from at least PDP is ruled by an oligarchy, some group of people. But in APC, it's a one-man show. And the APC has not, you enumerate what the PDP has not given the Southeast. What has APC given the Southeast? Can you ply any federal road today after 5 years of APC being in power? What the hell are we talking about? So let's not be deceived. He can go. If he wishes to change parties, he should change parties. But let him not insult my intelligence by telling me that he's doing so on my behalf. I'm a stakeholder. And I have a right to say, no, stop insulting me. You are doing it for your own personal reasons. Leave it out. We know that in strategic planning in political parties, in the circumstances, an opposition party cannot nominate its candidates before the government party, particularly in circumstances where the government party uses government machinery, the so-called incumbency factor, to determine elections. It would be stupid of an opposition party to begin to nominate candidates before the government party. You do so only after they have done that. And that's what has always happened.
All right, let's take some more calls. 09020020925. Hello, good morning.
Let's correct an impression, please, Chima. Just a minute. Somebody said what APC gave to the Southeast. It is on record, and equally a stakeholder, a can't-carry member of PDP. Now, let's be clear here. People are listening, and let's not be sentimental. What did PDP, my party, gave in for complete 15 years? Name the federal roads or any infrastructure. Is it anywhere for? We are crying today. I want the man there, the man in the area, telling me, listen, what your party, my party, PDP gave to us. They gave us appointments. Is appointment infrastructure? What did we use those appointments? Deputy Senate President, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Aviation Ministers. What did we use it to? Look at Onitsha. You are from Anambra now. Look at Anambra State. Look at Onitsha. So what are we talking about? Today, a dry seed force by your own person, on Anambra, Moriano, is on course. So let us pray when something is coming. When something, this is just 5 years. For your information,
Chima. All right, I think you're listening to me. Instead of calling us to be combative all the time, you should also try to speak to our topic instead of trying to narrow you down to your temper at the moment. It will help us if you don't get tempered up anytime you join us here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and location?
Casey from Enugu.
Casey, go ahead.
See, it is that your guest that makes utterances that make people combative. Is he saying that President was not a success as PTF head? What is he saying? Governor Dave Umahi has got the right to protest. There is nothing. If you've been following the utterances, particularly of Wike, they don't have time for Igbo people. The man is simply protesting. He has stated that clearly. Are you trying to sweep him off his constitutional guarantee right? There is nothing on the horizon that shows that PDP is considering the Southeast at all. It's within the man's right to defect. when people leave PDP for APC, it's bad. When it's the other way, you don't come to microanalyze it, and you're talking about being combative.
I'm not sure you are listening to us. Nobody said he doesn't have a right to defect. Well, if he says he's defecting on behalf of you and everyone, and someone says he's not part of those mentioned, is that a problem too? So you have a right to your opinion, just like others have rights to theirs. Thank you for calling us. 090200202925. If a defection happens and the person who's defecting says he's doing so on behalf of the Southeast, and some people in the Southeast say no, that they are not part of those you are defecting on their behalf, is that a problem? All right, we'll have comments on Facebook. 925 Dream FM. Chuku John Obodna says, texting us from Port Harcourt. He says, what I know is that a child that does not know where the rain starts beating him usually gets drenched before he finds a shelter. Dave Umahi is just in for a big shock in his political life. He should have taken a cue from the misfortunes of Oshomole and Tinubu. He made a bad decision. That's at the realm of public opinion too. And I will have a Chris Eberchina says, good morning, Alex and guests in the studio. I personally believe that Dave Umahi must have rightly read the body movement of the PDP towards 2023 presidential candidacy. If his interpretation is correct, then the PDP must do something about it and stand to lose the Southeast votes come 2023. And Ugobando BC says, Southeast leaders' defections is critical and constitutional because it will create a huge vacuum and will take years for parties of defection to raise such political personnel. Back to the phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What's your name and location? Your name is? Chidabara, go ahead and make your contribution.
Please, as you listen to this agreement from my defected, as this man, I'm not from Anambra, from the way talking about my is not okay. It's a traditional leader. Don't you talk something that is simple. To take through the complex of land and the take to the local area. It's not a position, and they don't have any.
There seems to be a lot of noise coming from your line. You can change your position and call us back so we can hear you clearly. We're always here to take your calls. On Facebook, we have another comment here, Engineer Chukwu. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
What's your name and location? All right, Engineer Chukwu says, good morning, gentlemen in the studio. My take on the topic this morning is that defection from one political party to another in the Southeast by our leaders is not good, in the sense that you can't point out any good reason why they are defecting. It is simply for a selfish reason. I think it's high time they should come together and form a political party that would champion the interest of Igbos and the chance of winning 2023 presidency. Obu Moses says, please, let's stop attacking the guests in the studio. One thing is certain, that Dave's defection is for a personal interest and never for the interest of the Igbo race. All right, the opinions of ours. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What's your name and location? Emeka?
Yes.
Can you speak up, please?
Yes, you see, the problem we're having is the defection issue. Well, sometimes it's true, and sometimes it may be bad. But like somebody like Umahi has the intention of giving to another party. You wouldn't blame me. He's the chairman of the forum, and he has seen the handwriting of PDP on the wall. For anybody now begin to condemn him while trying to go to that party, that person is not trying to do the Igbo race what is good for us. You understand? So we should not begin to pull our eggs in a basket. Every time you put your egg in one basket, problem, and that have been facing an Igbo nation. You understand what I'm saying? For a very long time, take that error. Why is bouncing back on? We should learn on how to do that. Some of you now be thinking that PDP Igbo party. You understand? Try to have yourself and then study other people. Then you cannot do it and we should not begin to.
All right. I'm sorry, but your line seems to be breaking. Let's take a message from Facebook. Christian Anyuku says defection between parties in Nigeria has always been on the basis of personal interest. No one is doing it in the interest of his people. If Dave feels that his interest cannot be actualized in the PDP, he is free to go. He shouldn't say that he is doing it for the Igbos. He was a beneficiary of PDP's goodness too. He should just quietly go and stop making false statements. That's from Christian. And you could just for you to know that the comments and positions taken by guests on this program are not that of Dream 925 FM. This is Political Voices on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. Let's take the final thoughts of my guests this morning. It does appear that there are different camps on the lessons we could learn, or whether there is danger ahead, or whether there is El Dorado ahead for those who are decamping. As you try to get into your final statements on this program this morning, do you think that there's need for more caution, or you think that the mood of the day should continue to determine what happens when politicians defect?
First of all, let me emphasize the fact that I carry no party card. I'm not any party member. I'm just thinking about how things will be for our people in the Igbo. And my advice is that people should have some sense of history and remember people who switched over in their personal interests and forgot the group to which they belonged. In Yoruba land, you have the Afonja episode of 1824. That's why Ilori, you have an Emma in Ilori, even though it's a Yoruba town. He decamped from being the generalissimo of the Laughing of Oyo to serving himself as the commander and the ruler of Ilori by the advice of Alimi, an Islamic scholar, Fulani Islamic scholar. And after he had done that, the Alimi's children got him, killed him, and installed one of them as Emir. That is one. Emeka Abiola was a very popular man, a Muslim leader. He contested the election. 1993, won. Could he be president? No. How did he end up? He died. The lesson of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 2015, he created the presidency you have today. Where is he? Let us hear from him. That's all I can say.
All right then. Dr. Desnaja, let's hear from you, especially in the light of things that are happening. Do you think that it's looking like we are seeing that politicians defecting without recourse to their constituents as against what happens during campaigns? When someone wants to defect, no town hall meetings are held, not minding that the person is holding a public office. Should that start happening? Are we supposed to do something to our laws to make that happen? For instance, if you are a local government chairman and you want to defect, your people should know why suddenly the party flag in the local government office should change.
Definitely, in the past we heard of politicians who wanted to change camp, saying, after consultation with my constituents, or in the interest of my constituents, and so on and so forth. But that has not been happening, because the tripodal nature of the politics of present-day Nigeria was destroyed by the campees from APGA, which now made it impossible for the Igbo nation to have an identity revolving around one political party. In 1999, we had three political parties, APP, AD, and PDP. AD continued to hold, the Southwest continued to hold on to AD, even when it was only one state that they were controlling. Out of their own naivety, they kind of succumbed to Obasanjo's blackmail and jumped to PDP. But when they realized the mistake they had made, what did they do? They returned and continued to hold on, even changing to ACN. But in our own case, at the time, APGA was controlling two states. You recall when Obi was in power, Ikedo Hakim was governor of Imo State under APGA. And the APP, which was supposed to be an offshoot of APGA, PPA, Progressive Party Alliance, which Oteodoji used to become governor of Abia State, was not a PDP. It was not a PDP flag bearer. So, if they had actually aggregated all these structures to begin to say, okay, our identity is revolving around this political party, it becomes a platform for negotiation. So, Southwest used the ACN as a platform for negotiation to be part of what is happening in APC. We are in disarray, and that is wrong. So that happened because of defections. People defected from APGA and destroyed the party. And I don't know what is going to happen again by the time the Anambra election is conducted in 2021. If APGA doesn't win, if no candidate of APGA wins the governorship in Anambra State, that party will die, become just as one of those political parties, COA, and so on and so forth. So we expect that there should be a control. If you are the campaign in the interest of your zone, you have the capacity to institute a town hall meeting. You have the capacity to travel around and tell people, this is what I want to do. I'm doing this in your interest. If there is an approval, you can go ahead. But when you announce it unilaterally, it is a personal decision. And ascribing that to be a protection of the interest of a particular group of people is wrong. And in politics, when you take certain steps, you dig your grave, and because it becomes subject to criticism. And when some of the critics will now begin to destroy you, and you lose your credibility as a politician and as a leader.
All right, and thank you so much, Dr. Desnaja, versatile pundit and former head political advisory and consultant, Neighbor to Neighbor Nigeria. Thank you, as always, for your insights on the program. And Prince Chukwuemeka, author, historian, writer, and a social critic.
The other person was okay.
Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you very much.
The other person was talking about being a stakeholder. He forgot the fact that Top Alliance is a special stakeholder in the Igbo nation.
All right.
Thank you, Dr.
That's, of course, just a few thoughts on Facebook there. Damelola Akinfenwa from Oka said, I don't know why Igbo will be deceived by the North and Southwest. Aburu Declaration had been signed, which was never made public, and Igbo cannot get the presidents in this country as they will continue to deceive us as Igbo. Okadibo had this information, and someone somewhere made him not speak out. Igbo, don't follow him to APC. That's the Anako Ego says, as for me, I don't support any political party. I only support personality. Dave's move is a good one. All right. There are different strokes for different folks. Here, special thanks to my special production assistant, Lieutenant Okereke. I almost got political here, addressing him as special assistant, Lieutenant Okereke, and my producer, Okeodogu. My name is Alex Ogbodo. We'll do this again tomorrow, same time. Good morning.
Ndị Umuokpe Quarters dị na ama Ezike Imirikenu dị na kansụl Udenu nke steeti Enugu ji ohere wee na-akpọku ndị enyi, ndị ikwu na ibe, ndị ọgọ na ndị niile na-echere ha echiche ọma ka ha bịa maka mmemme kwa afọ ha nke a na-akpọ oriri ji obulehu okpe. Otu a ka ya bụ mmemme ga-esi wee dị n'abalị 24 nke ọnwa Nọvemba n'ime afọ anọ n'ime ya ka a ga-eme echumụra anyasị obulehu bido n'elekere 12 nke etiti ụbọchị wee gaa ya na chi ofufo. N'abalị 25 nke ọnwa anọ n'ime ya bụ ọnwa Nọvemba ka mmemme obulehu okpe ga-adị kpọmkwem. Ọ ga-ebido n'elekere 10 nke ụtụtụ o wee kụrụ ọnụ n'ime mgbede. Chief Lazarus Odo Nwuroko Nado Nwuroko Nado Nwuroko Nado Nwuroko.
Listen, I am telling you that
I don't agree.
Politics. Where is good governance?
Everyone is a political animal.
I don't like politics.
But I love political voices.
Political Voices exclusively on Dream FM, 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday